I'll assume you can follow the tab or the standard notation from the beginning of this video well enough that you can learn the notes on your own. So rather than going note by note, we're going to go phrase by phrase and talk about fingerings, chord shapes, and general technique. If you do need some help reading tab, I've got a video on that topic. I'll leave a link for that in the description. Also in the description, you'll find a link for ordering a PDF of this arrangement. I'm playing this with a pick, but you could use fingers if you like. As we go through this arrangement, make sure you pay attention to the chords above the music. That's going to help you find good fingerings. We start off with a C chord, but we're only playing 3 notes of the C chord strumming through the 3rd string because that's where our melody note is. We don't want to play any higher than our melody note. When we play through these types of arrangements, sometimes we'll take away notes from a chord so the melody pops out. Sometimes we'll add a note to a chord because of the melody note. Play the C and the E with fingers 3 and 2, and of course the G is open. Keep finger 2 and 3 held down while you play the A with your first finger. Measure 2, we're still on a C chord, now strumming through the 2nd string because that's where our melody note is. Measure 3, we move to a G chord, play the lowest notes with fingers 2 and 3. And our melody note is a D on the 2nd string, so play that with your 4th finger. And then we do move to a G, 1st string. So between measures 3 and 4, just move your pinky from the D on the 2nd string to the G on the 1st string. Measure 5, we're back to a C chord. This time we are strumming through the 1st string because that's where our melody is. 4th finger on this D. And then we move to an F over C chord. You can keep your 3rd finger right where it is and move your fingers 2 and 4 in place. We're only strumming through the 3rd string because of the melody. And then we go back to a C chord. Keep your 3rd finger planted again. And you're strumming only through the 3rd string because that's the melody note. And if you're wondering about that F over C chord, I do have a video on slash chords. I'll leave a link for that in the description. At the end of measure 8, we have a repeat sign, so that means we're going to go back to the beginning and play all those 8 measures again, and then we move on to measure 9. In measure 9, we have an A minor chord. So keep that A minor ringing while you're playing the melody over the top of it. Then we have a partial D minor chord. I'm suggesting playing this with fingers 2 and 3, and we're only strumming strings 4, 3, and 2, again because the melody note has to be the highest note. We don't want to play higher than that. So you can keep those fingers down in measures 11 and 12. Measure 13, we go back to an A minor chord, this time only strumming through the 2nd string because that's where our melody note is. And then in measure 15, we have a partial D chord, actually only 2 notes of a D chord, just a D and an A. And what you can do there is keep your 3rd finger down from the A minor chord and just play those 2 notes like that. Keep the 3rd finger down. And then at the end of measure 16, we have a repeat going back to measure 9. So in the Skye Boat version in C, we play measures 1 through 8 twice, and then we play measures 9 through 16 twice. Skye Boat Song in G major, of course, starts on a G chord. Only 3 notes of this G chord because, again, we only play as high as our melody note, and our melody note is on the 4th string. I suggest playing the low notes, your G and your B, with fingers 3 and 2, so you can play this E with your 1st finger. Measure 18, we move to 3rd string for that G chord. And then measure 19, we have a partial D chord, only 2 notes of a D chord. I suggest playing this A with your 2nd finger. And then in measure 20, when we add the D on the 2nd string, keep your 2nd finger down, just add your 3rd finger for that D there. Just just add your finger. Now in measures 19 and 20, you could also use finger 1 for the A. If you do that, then keep that finger down and add your second finger for the D in measure 20. Then we move to measure 21. We're back to a G chord, this time strumming through the second string because that's where our melody note is. Play this with fingers 2 and 3 on the bottom notes. So your first finger is ready to play this melody note A on beat 2. Then we move to a C over G chord. You can keep your third finger in place. Move your other fingers in place for that C over G, fingers 2 and 4. Only strumming through the fourth string because that's our melody note. And then back to the G, keep your third finger planted, and only strum through the fourth string. And again, I have that video on /chords. If you're interested, I'll leave a link for that in the description. At the end of measure 24, we have a repeat going back to measure 17. So measure 17 through 24, you play twice, and then you move on to measure 25 with an E minor chord. Now the cool thing about this section right here, 25 to the end, if you follow these fingerings, you don't have to move your second finger the whole time. So we have an E minor chord, playing only through the second string because that's where our melody note is. Play your fifth string and your fourth string with fingers 1 and 2. Moving to this partial A minor chord, keep finger 2 down, take finger 1 away, add third finger, and we're only strumming through the third string there. To measure 29, back to our original E minor with fingers 1 and 2, keep finger 2 planted, only strumming through the third string. And for this partial A minor chord at the very end, keep finger 2 down, just lift finger 1, and you're all set. So you don't have to move your second finger between measures 25 through the end. Now there is a repeat going back to measure 25, so in this Skye Boat Song in G, 17 through 24 is played twice, and then 25 through the end, you play twice. And that was Skye Boat Song for solo guitar. Have fun with this, and don't forget to check the description to see where you can order the PDF. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with more guitar tips and arrangements.